welcome to another Sci-Fi Journal presented by members of the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club. I'm Marc Barso. Also hosting today are Calvin Watts III.
Hello.
Hello, and James Incy.
Uh,
Hey, James is on the run as we're talking. Here we go. He's all over the place. It's like you look like you're being chased by a dog or something.
well, sometimes she does.
Okay.
She starts barking. You don't know why.
So we got a few things for you this month, and we're going to start off with back on May 3rd. Calvin and I visited some places for Free Comic Book Day 2025, and it was kind of an abridged version of what we usually do for Free Comic Book Day, because usually we have like 3 or 4 different sites. This year we only had a couple of them, but in the wonderful world of Zoom, give me a moment. I'm going to share the screen and we'll play those interviews for you. So let's see what we got. Here we go. So you want me to walk off the camera after or just stay here? What do you want me to do?
No, you can just stay here. Jesus.
It's Free Comic Book Day 2025. We're in front of Time Capsule, and today we also had a chance to visit Green Dragon Comics. And I'm Marc Barso, and my good buddy Calvin Watts, and Adam is running the camera, and Kat is drinking Dell's lemonade
With a spoon.
with a spoon. No, do not do that.
That's wrong. It's blasphemy.
Yes. Anyway, Free Comic Book Day 2025. What do you think?
Oh, it was a blast. I mean, I joined you late because I had literally car trouble, but that's okay.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
But Rob, I've known Rob for years. I mean, literally decades. And the Time Capsule is a really, really awesome comic. And I've been to Cassie's store at Green Dragon plenty of times. She's really awesome too. You know, both places are great. And Free Comic Day has always been a lot of fun to us.
Yeah, it's always good. And I managed to get one of the comics out this year. I was surprised. I was totally shocked to see it was one based on the old comic strips, The Phantom, which is one of my favorite superheroes.
Yeah, The Phantom is really good. I do want to give a shout out to Randy over at Wild Time Comics. For those of you that might not know, Randy at Wild Time Comics had to suddenly close about 6 weeks ago due to some issues that were beyond their control. They are looking to get another location, so hopefully that'll take place. And if we get any updated information, we'll be sure to pass it along to you guys.
Yeah, that was always a lot of fun because he had a huge setup with a haunted house and everything else like that.
Absolutely, and a lot of fun, independent people there, you know, hawking their own comics, and friends of ours also. So I mean, yeah, and it's always a blast going over there.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see what's going on this year for Free Comic Book Day 2025, and I'm going to stay right here.
That's good.
All right, we're at Green Dragon Comics. Is this Chepachet? What's this considered?
Yeah, it's Chepachet, Gloucester.
Chepachet, okay. I'm with Cassie, the owner, or one of the owners anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I haven't seen you in a whole year.
I know,
since Free Comic Book Day. This is Free Comic Book Day 2025.
Yes.
Now, how many years have you been doing this?
10.
You've been doing Free Comic Book Day for 10 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it. Seems like you guys just opened yesterday or something.
I know.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. So tell us some of the things that are going on at Green Dragon Comics.
So we are actually in the process of redesigning some of our back walls and making more room for more D&D minis and more paint. It's turned into, around here, a lot of people have come into hobbying.
Oh, very nice.
So it has been nice.
Okay.
So we're going to make some room for that as well now.
All right.
And other than that, we've just been fixing the building with what we can.
Yeah, it looks good. All right. Now, in regards to comics, since it is Free Comic Book Day, how many titles or new titles do you guys cover? How many do you offer?
To be honest with you, we offer whatever is available right now because unfortunately with a lot of things going on in the distribution centers, we're not exactly sure what
Diamond Comics is kind of in limbo right now.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's whatever we can get our hands on.
Yeah. So and there were all comic shops are running into this issue too.
Correct.
So do you foresee having to just wait until the smoke clears to find out where you're going to be getting your books from, or?
We've kind of already done that with a few things, so we're hoping that once the dust settles, everything will be okay, and we can even still get some of the smaller companies that are for publications.
Oh, like the indies and such?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, out of all the titles, which ones are your customers' favorites? Are they buying one more than another, or?
Right now, it's more the indies and more Image than it is DC and Marvel.
Nice. All right, that's cool.
And a lot of Spider-Man.
And a lot of Spider-Man. I work at an elementary school, and Spider-Man, everybody's dressed like Spider-Man.
Yep.
Oh, Miles Morales, one of those two. That type of thing. Okay, now give us a rundown of which titles are available this year for Free Comic Book Day.
So you have Fantastic Four, you have Spider-Man, you have Hulk for the children. We just got in one for a Gundam Wing as well that
all right.
we're like, okay, that's cool. Phantom has one, which was awesome because I didn't know that a new Phantom was coming out.
Phantom is one of my favorite comic book.
You have two for Star Wars as well, one for younger kids, one for teens.
Okay, is that the Young Jedi series? Is that what that is? Okay.
So that's really nice. And then we have a Mega Man that I was all about because that's my childhood.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Okay.
So
cool.
yeah, that's just a few of them.
Yeah. All right. And what kind of, you mentioned D&D, what kind of gaming supplies do you offer?
So we do the miniatures, we do paints, we do paintbrushes, we do all the hobby kits as well. We also do the books and then all the supplies that go with it. So all your papers, your pens, your pencils, anything that you need for that, and a lot of dice.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of dice.
A lot of dice. That's good.
We have dice goblins.
All right. Nice. All right. Now, what are your operating hours? When can people find you?
So it's Wednesday through Friday from noon to 6, and then Saturday from 10 to 6.
Okay. So, and if people want to get in touch, what's the best way to get in touch?
Through Facebook or calling us at 401-949-2076.
All right. Sounds good. Cassie, thank you very much.
You're welcome. You guys have a great day.
All right. Thanks.
Take what you want.
Ooh, nice. Free Comics. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, buddies.
All right. Let's see what else is going on in Free Comic Book Day.
Test. Hello. Does it work? Okay. Free Comic Book Day 2025. That is scary, man. 2025. And we are at the premier comic book store in Rhode Island, the original, the time capsule in Cranston. I'm here with the proprietor, the owner, and a friend of mine, Rob. Rob, how's it going?
It's fantastic. The weather's with us. The people are coming out. Smiles everywhere. I couldn't ask for anything else.
All right, so let's delve into what's going on in the comic book world, because there's a lot of craziness going around with the bankruptcy of Diamond Distributors, and there's been really kind of weird stuff for the past couple of years, ever since COVID, when you have Marvel and DC and some of the different people going off, and you have 2 or 3 distributors, and now with them in limbo, a lot of people think that this might be the last Free Comic Book Day. What do you think, and how is things going today?
Today's going fantastic. I've never seen more enthusiastic people. I mean, we're getting the same kind of crowds, but people are just way more into it than I've ever seen, especially younger people, which is fantastic. I don't think this will be the last Free Comic Book Day, because there are right now there are 3 distributors, and a good chunk of the free comic books that came out today came from the alternate distributors to Diamond. So I don't think Free Comic Book Day is in jeopardy, at least not in the next year or two. And I think we just have to work out all the kinks of the new distribution system and see how things go. I mean, at the end of the day, consolidation happens in every industry, and I'll bet you within 3-5 years they'll be down to 1 distributor again.
Okay, that seems fair enough. And like you said, I came in traffic, and you've always been a busy store, and you have a lot to offer. It's not just comic books you have here. You got games, you got books, you got music.
Yeah, we started selling vinyl sort of by accident at the beginning, and it just took off. And for the last 21 years, we've sold more vinyl each year than the previous year. And the video games is a huge part of the business. When I had heard years ago that GameStop and some of the other stores weren't going to sell retro games, I said, there's still a lot of demand for that stuff, so I'm going to start carrying it. And then it just exploded over the years. So luckily, we got in early enough that we got our foothold into it, and we got known as a place that has it. So it's worked out really well. It brings in a nice diverse group of people. And what's great is like sometimes people come in for video games and they might pick up a comic, or they're here for records and they might pick up a video game or a comic. So most people have interest in just more than one thing.
Yeah. And this year's a pretty transitional year when it comes to, having like extra comic related stuff, especially like with the movies, with Marvel firmly into like the end of their phase 5 and going into phase 6. Thunderbolts is out now. We're going to see it on Tuesday. And I assume you've seen the trailer for the Fantastic Four. What do you think?
I've seen 2 different ones, and I'm optimistic that it's going to be a good movie. I feel like Disney really knows what it's doing with the Marvel properties, and with the addition of Fantastic Four under their umbrella and soon the X-Men, I think it's just the popularity of comic books are only going to go up more and more as more general audiences see these movies and fall in love with these characters that they may or may not know. I mean, your average person out in the world doesn't really know what the Fantastic Four is, but they're going to know once the Disney movie hits, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they've had, Fox has taken like 3 shots at it, and the results were mediocre at best. The first one wasn't too bad. The second was so-so, and let's not talk about the Josh Trank one. That was just really awful. And then, honestly, the 94 one was actually kind of watchable in a really bad sort of way. But yeah, no, it really looks good. And then on the flip side, you got James Gunn's DCU universe kicking off. I mean, you had Creature Commandos, but I mean, it's really kicking off in earnest with the Superman movie in another month or so. What do you think about that?
I've already seen a lot of excitement with people about Superman, which I can't say has happened in a long time. I mean, when you have a character that's been around that long, and people always complain he's so overpowered and there's like nobody to really challenge him, and they killed him but then they didn't. And I think that with James Gunn overseeing Superman, I think it's going to be a blockbuster. I'm happy I own a comic book store, I'll say that.
Speaking of comics, now there's a lot of independent books are coming out and have been out for a while, and that's still a push thing. But then you still have the big 2. Anything out now, or any special events coming out or are going to be happening this summer you can recommend or you're looking forward to seeing?
There's such a diverse amount. I mean, there's people who like the horror genre. It's unbelievable how much quality material is coming out. And Image, I mean, you have to give them credit. I mean, they've been putting out 4 new titles for decades, giving creators, an opportunity to distribute their stuff. I mean, there's literally comics for everybody. What really is a great crossover is when they do music comics. It really gets people who would never buy a comic book. Like today, there's a Def Leppard giveaway, and I've gotten calls today from like Def Leppard super fans. They're like, I need that comic. Do you have it? And I'm like, sure do. Come on down and get it. And so when they come in, they're like, oh look, Guardians of the Galaxy, I like that movie. Let me try getting one of those. So anything that brings new people into the store, I'm all about it. And with the diversity of comics that's being published today between crime and horror and mystery and superheroes, and there's more kids comics today than ever. So it really gives parents an opportunity to give their kids an opportunity they had when they were kids. I mean, for a long time there was a real lack of comics for little kids being published, and it was a real problem when parents would come in. We'd have to sell them 20-year-old Richie Rich and Archie comics, but now there's just a tremendous amount of stuff for that age group as well. And I tell you, Sonic is like one of the best-selling kids comics, and kids buy it, teenagers buy it, adults buy it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, when you have the titles that cross over and they go from generation to generation, and that's really one of the cool things about comic books. It's always been like that, especially over the past couple of decades, where you can have like kids come in and enjoy stuff, you can have adults come in and enjoy stuff. Now I know you're not much of a collector anymore when it comes to like the regular stuff, but I remember talking to you a couple of years ago. There's that independent set that you've been trying to get, like the underground stuff. Have you made any headway into that?
I've definitely added a lot of books to my collection over the last year. Sometimes the fire just gets lit under me and I go, crazy tracking stuff down. And so over the last year, I've definitely been tracking down a lot of stuff that I need. I mean, a lot of the ones that I need, the print runs were under 100 copies, and these are ones that were published in like the 60s and 70s. So it's tough to find some. I've actually been tracking down the creators of some of them and writing them letters on Facebook or emailing them, and I've had some success tracking down some stuff. It's been fun adding to my own collection again.
And we have done this a long time, and it's very hard to come up sometimes with like a new question, but I have a new question. I've literally known you almost 40 years, going back to the holiday and, once a month conventions, and you've owned your store, different stores over the years, but literally for like 30 plus years. If there is one thing you could go back when it comes related to running your store or running a comic book business that you could change, what would you do?
If I had one thing to change, I wouldn't have sold the original capsule in '98 and moved to California. I would have stayed here because in '97, '98, I had 500,000 comic books, all in alphanumeric order, and we liquidated all of them. It was the biggest sale that had ever been in Rhode Island. Stay tuned, there's a bigger one coming. But if I had had that inventory at the time when eBay first came around, I would have been a millionaire, because it was the Wild West. I would have kept my store. I never would have closed the store, but in conjunction, I would have built up this crazy early empire on eBay, more than I even did, and it would have been a game changer, but that's just not how it went. Timing was bad.
Nope, I love that store in Warwick. I still have that custom Starman figure that somebody had made, and this is back in like the late 90s with the packaging and stuff, the 80s Starman that nobody really knows about. And I still have that in my collection.
Think about that figure. They did that without computers. Today people design everything, they print it out, they 3D print everything. That stuff was all done by hand. It was amazing, the quality of some of those customs at that time. I'm glad you still have that.
Yeah, that's not ever leaving my collection. So, Rob, Time Capsule in Cranston, also visit their sister store with Jeff over in Seekonk on Route 6. You can website, all that information.
Thetimecapsule.com. You can find out everything you need to know.
Yep, and they also have an eBay area, so if you're looking for stuff that you can't find in the store, there's a lot of stuff there that you can go look. Rob, it's always a pleasure. Always enjoy the rest of the day as much as you can, and I'll see you next year for Free Comic Book Day 2026.
Awesome. It's always great having you guys come down. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, what'd you think? He's back.
It was fine considering we were there. We did the interviews.
Now which comics did you pick up that day, Calvin, from Free Comic Book Day?
What did I pick up? I picked up Fantastic Four.
All right.
I picked up trying to remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
There were a few.
Yeah, I picked up like 3 or 4 of them. My 2 favorites. I picked up the Star Wars.
Yeah.
Where am I? Oh, I disappear. That's weird. Here he is. All right. Maybe I'm not there anymore. There I am. Okay. Star Wars. I'll be right there. There we go. That works. And then I also picked up, Cassie had mentioned this at Green Dragon, the Phantom. This is a nice tale. This is really good.
All right. So
Yep.
this is what we picked up because Kat was generous enough to bring it. This caught my eye at Pre-Comic Book Day since I used to be a tractor trailer driver. Was Post Malone's Big Rig.
Oh, all right.
So we got that. Amazing Spider-Man from the Ultimate Universe.
Okay.
The DC Absolute Universe All In.
All in. Yep.
So
I got that one too.
Marvel Voices look good, so we ended up grabbing that.
All right.
The aforementioned Star Wars.
Yep.
The Def Leppard Hysteria book.
Oh, the one
Rob
that
was talking about. Yeah.
Rob was talking about. All right. Okay.
And I think you just shown the Phantom, so there's the Phantom.
Yep.
And the Fantastic Four, which I'm really glad I picked this up because there's also a little thing in there about X-Men.
Yes.
And it's a little thing where basically Cyclops is kicking the crap out of everybody else on the team. So it goes back to early days of the new X-Men, you know, when, Colossus and Wolverine and Storm had just joined the team.
Yep. Yep.
And he's like, all right, come at me, and he's just making them all look like fools. But then at the end of the blurb, you see Miss Marvel there, so it's some sort of a time travel thing.
Right.
And of course, you got to read the new issue to go figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Still, it was a really good way to showcase just how good of a character Cyclops can be if given right stuff. And I'm really hoping when Avengers Doomsday actually comes out that they actually treat his character with something more than just a punchline.
Yeah. Now, what did you think about that particular uniform with the yellow boxes and the yellow boots?
Yeah.
It is what it is, I suppose.
It is what it is. I mean, it's classic. I like
Yeah.
it. I still prefer the 90s,
Mhm.
style,
Right.
but
It was good.
still.
All right. So while we're on the topic of comics, there's two that I want to highlight that I picked. A couple of recent series from Dynamite. Dynamite's got the license for some of the old Hanna-Barbera cartoon shows from the 1960s. That's my era. So they're doing a book based on Johnny Quest. They're also doing Space Ghost, which is pretty cool.
Uh,
This is the latest one, issue number 12. And they just started doing a series based on Herculoids,
Oh, that's awesome.
which is kind of cool. Yeah, there's 3 issues into this as we tape in the middle of May. So those are a lot of fun. They also have the license to Thundercats and Captain Planet of all things.
Captain Planet.
So if you're a fan of those old TV shows, you can pick up comics based on those as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else about comics that we want to talk about? No.
Oh,
Okay.
we did go see Thunderbolts.
Yep, we went to see Thunderbolts.
yes, that was good.
The 3 of us, or the 5 of us. What'd you think?
I liked it. It was pretty fun.
Okay.
Some of it was predictable, some of it wasn't.
Right.
Unfortunately, one of the things that kind of got spoiled early on, happened very, very early in the movie, and that was, spoilers. So if you're watching and you don't want any spoilers, then don't watch.
Lock your
How
ears. Yeah.
Taskmaster basically just, hit the bed like very early on.
Hmm.
But the premise of the movie and how it all works out and how they're now the quote new Avengers, it all fit in, and it was definitely interesting, and it was fun to see.
Yeah.
And Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes is always good, and no matter what MC movie he's been in.
Mm.
And David Balfour as the Red Guardian's a hoot.
Oh, he was awesome. He was good. Yep. We good. James, what'd you think about the movie?
That was great. Florence Pugh was awesome. I
Yep.
love her work.
Yeah,
And
she's a good actress.
yeah. And she did actually jump off of that second highest
I know you were telling me
building
about that. That
in
at the
Kuala
beginning scene.
Lumpur.
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah. Um, I think it's in Kuala Lumpur or some other Southeast Asian country, city where the second tallest building is.
Right.
I think the tallest is like in Dubai or someplace like that.
Mm.
So, but yeah, they rigged it so that she could jump off it.
Mhm.
And of course, she didn't fall all the way down. They had stunt or CGI for that, but
Right.
the top part of it, and then they pulled her back up.
Yep.
And then what else? The stunts were great.
Yep.
I thought, they delved more into sort of the inner part of people's, psyche, which is different from other Marvels. It's not making as much money as some others, but it hasn't tanked.
Right.
So it's you know, I'd rather they keep the Thunderbolts name. I like that, but but it helped also kind of tease what they're doing for next year's Avengers movies.
Yeah,
Right.
which is what they did, and you can't understate the performance of Lewis Pullman as Bob
Yes.
slash the Sentry slash Void.
Mhm.
Having to pull somebody of his character with his psyche and his neuroses and being all over the place. And one day he's happy, one second he's happy, one second he's crazy and he's mental and he's this and he's that. He
Yeah.
did a really, really good job.
Yeah. Sounds like some of the kids I work with, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I loved Florence Pugh as
Mhm.
uh, you know the sister of Black Widow,
Elena.
and
Yep.
yeah, and she was great in Hawkeye, the Hawkeye series that was on TV or on Disney Plus.
Right.
So uh, she was the star of the show, kind of. But
Yep.
Bucky was great, and Bucky getting into politics was interesting.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, I
you know,
liked it because it was
and
just a good old fashioned, fun superhero comic book. but it had, like you said, like you had mentioned, it had some depth to it as well, as far as we get to know a lot of the characters, which was, I think that's what made the movie. It wasn't just glossed over with, okay, guys in tights fighting other guys in tights. There was more to it than that. So in that aspect, it was really good. It was well done.
Yeah. And I get tired of those superhero movies where it just delves into a fist fight.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, come on, let's something smarter. Like this actually was really smart.
Yeah, it was good.
So
It was good.
Yeah,
Well,
and it is trending a little bit lower when it comes to the MCU movies, but it's not the worst, not by a long shot.
nope.
yeah.
And in terms of the movie itself, it's not bad. But like I said before, everything's hinging on the Fantastic Four. How
Mhm.
that does is going to really set the tone for the Marvel franchise for the next 8 to 10 years,
Right.
honestly. If it's
Yeah.
if it's a bomb, then they have a reason to worry. If it's a
Right.
hit, then they'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really that simple.
Yeah.
Superman 2 is going to be a test case in a way.
That's going to be
If they
my,
can
my,
do
yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
if they can do this DC and give it heart and depth and uh and humor, and then be able to help preview whatever else they want to do. I mean, there's going to be some standalone films like the Batman 2 or uh, Clayface, which is an
Mhm.
interesting. I really want to know what take we're going to do on that. But it's a standalone film, not necessarily connected. Could be. Um, let's see. I think they could do more television series like they did with Penguin on HBO Max.
Mm.
Penguin was just downright awesome. So
Yeah, it's on my wish list. Now, question: do you guys think if Fantastic Four bombs, do you think that's going to have any effect at all on the Superman movie a month later, or are they two
Mm,
separate? Because they're two
No,
separate
it's
franchises,
two
it's not going to
separate.
matter.
It's
yeah,
two separate entities, and if you can believe the early tracking numbers for Superman, they're counting a high 100, 150 plus million opening.
Mm.
And they were even saying it's possible it'll top the Batman versus Superman opening. Now, it's way too far in advance, and I always take those with a grain of salt. Oh, it's going to make this much money, and then it doesn't.
Right.
And then a lot
yeah.
of times I think they come out with the stuff in advance, and I really think it's like studios behind it generating it to try and see if they, on a positive thing, if they can actually do something about it. So I don't know.
Mm.
That's
There's a
cynicism in me, but
Yeah. There's a thing for Amazon Prime, might be Amazon Prime Premium members to get like a pass for like a
advanced
preview
screening,
of
I did see
Superman.
that.
Yeah, 4 days ahead of time.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but I don't know if Boston will have one. Boston might, but maybe not. That'd be the closest next to New York City. But I don't know what level exactly you have to be on Amazon to get it. I mean, I have Prime. I can watch, but I have commercials on
Mm.
most of the shows I watch. So I'm not paying for the commercial free thing on Prime.
Right.
I really am not paying for
I
commercial
am
free
so
on
I'll,
anything.
I'll take a look
So
at it.
Mm. Okay. Cool.
yeah,
All right. So that's it in the wonderful world of comics. Cool stuff. All right. Can we move
mm,
on to James? You had mentioned something about talking about upcoming conventions. What's coming up in the spring and the summer of 2025 that all of us should
right.
go visit.
I thi- yeah, I think as we speak, well, Anime Boston is coming this weekend,
Okay.
uh, Memorial Day weekend, and that's looking to be pretty big. But in uh, let's see, June, I think there's something coming earlier than expected.
Yep.
Let's
June
see.
7th
Oh
and
well,
8th.
we have the Rhode Island Anime Con,
Right.
right? June 7th and 8th.
Yep.
We'll try to be there. I'm not sure which day
Yeah. Hopefully,
and who's going.
hopefully we'll get some press passes and well, we were there last year. We had a table for our Science Fiction
Yeah.
Club this year. I don't believe we have a table this year, but we should be there to cover Rhode Island Anime Con. Unfortunately, a lot of the guests that I've seen are mostly voiceover actors and actresses that because I don't follow anime that closely, I don't
hmm
know who these people are. I don't know if you know of any of them that you recognize.
if I had seen the names, yeah, actually,
Right.
there were some that are very interesting. I
Okay.
was like liking the posts on the Facebook
Right.
that they were posting for their guests. Uh, let's see. Um, let's see. July has ReaderCon,
Oh,
which
all
is
right.
up in Boston area. It's usually been in Quincy at
Yep.
this Marriott in Quincy,
Okay.
but they moved actually back up to Burlington, where they had been many years before.
Right.
For many years, they were up in Burlington, so it's right close to the Burlington Mall.
Mm-mm.
So, um, but ReaderCon's great because there's a lot of authors, a lot of editors, and a lot of thing about reading and writing science fiction, fantasy. They don't really have an art show, but they might.
Now, is that
But
Burlington, Mass or Burlington, Vermont?
Yeah, Burlington, Mass.
Mass. Okay.
So it's not that far away. Uh, and that's in July. That's usually the weekend, the middle weekend around the 14th or 15th.
Okay.
Could be, let's see, I haven't looked at the calendar
Now, have you ever been
lately.
to ReaderCon?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I've been to a couple of them.
Okay.
Uh, saw people like Samuel Delaney and uh, let's see, Hartwell. Can't remember all the names.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I think it's the 11th and 12th, 13th for this year. Yeah. And then, oh
No,
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 sorry.
that's there are
It's in
limited
my
memberships for
calendar.
that too, right?
It's sorry. Yeah, it's in my calendar is the 18th, 19th, 20th.
Okay.
They even start on the Thursday. So, oh, that's good. Uh, but that may also be the same weekend as Kineticon.
Okay.
Uh, let's see. And then we've
Which
been to
we've covered
Kineticon
before.
a
Right.
bunch of times. Yeah. And let's see. Oh, yeah, it is the same weekend as Kineticon.
Okay.
So they've got a lot of good guests there this year too. A bunch of voice actors, and so you can check that out too. A lot of cosplay
Mhm.
and a lot of games. The
Yep.
huge game room is
If you are
awesome.
really into cosplay and you really like to play video games or arcade games from Japan, Kineticon is the place to go. That is
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I remember. We've been there. We did interviews with several people.
Yep.
We interviewed the cosplayers. I think one of the ones you did, Mark, was really excellent.
Yep. Yeah, they were a
Talking to
lot of
them.
fun.
Um, let's see what else coming up. Oh, and then Terrificon is like the first weekend in April. I mean, sorry, August.
August. Yep.
August, right?
It
Around the
is
7th,
August 8th.
9th.
August 8th
Yep.
through 10th is Terrificon.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
gonna be a huge weekend because
Oh
not
my
only is
God.
Terrificon that week, but Boston Fan Expo is that week.
Is that weekend
Yeah.
also? Oh,
Yeah.
So you got
they always compete
conflict.
against each other.
Yep.
I
Yikes.
know conflicting cons. It's not good.
Mm.
But for people who are closer to from New York, can get up to Mohegan Sun for
Yep.
Terrificon. Uh, everyone north of Boston could come down to Boston for Fan
Yep.
Expo, and then depending on who the guests are, you're gonna have to pick and choose and uh, go Saturday, go Sunday, do one and one if you can afford to go both.
Right.
Yep.
I'm sure there'll be people who will do that. And let's see.
Yeah,
And then
if you're really into comics and you want to meet some of the top writers and artists in the world of comics, then Terrificon is the place to go. That's the
Yeah.
one you want to go to.
Terrificon is
yeah,
definitely more comic centric, and
Yep.
they still have an eclectic mix of guests. But Boston Fan Expo is very well done. It is very well run, and
Yep.
you have a lot of heavy hitters that are going to be there. Both of them are well worth your time.
Yeah.
If you want something that's a little smaller but local, my friend John, we covered his Collecticon convention a couple of years back.
Yep.
We've done it a couple of times, and it is returning on just Sunday, June 29th. It's going to be the same place at the church basement, 21 Traverse Street in
Yep.
Providence. We're going to be covering that.
Yep, because we've been listed as special guests.
We are listed as special guests.
Which I thought was pretty funny. Thank you very much, Collecticon.
That's cool.
Which is pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to that. And then, even though it's technically still summertime and not fall, Granite State, which I finally got the chance to go to, that's in the early part of September. That's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a little bit of a drive, but it's not that far, and it has a little something for everybody. And even though it's not a local convention, we're still hoping and trying very much to attend DragonCon 2025.
Yep.
Which is really awesome, and I said it before and I'll say it again. I cannot recommend that enough. And I think if somehow we can get either one of you guys to go, I think you would have an absolute blast.
I was just going to say, Calvin, in a couple of years, hopefully I'll be able to retire, and then when I do, I'll have the free time to save my money, and maybe my wife Deb will let me go to DragonCon.
Yeah, me too.
She'll say, "Yeah, sure, go, get out of here." Yeah.
They were kind of offering a retirement thing this year, but I decided not to take it. I still want to stick to my plan.
One of the big reasons why I'd like to go to DragonCon is because usually one of my favorite writers, Patricia Briggs, who lives on the West Coast in the Oregon area, she usually makes the effort to go to the East Coast, and she goes to DragonCon.
Yeah.
So it would be awesome to meet that woman because I've read all the books. Yeah.
There are a lot of writers and artists and actors and actresses who have just fallen in love with DragonCon.
Yeah,
and they attend every year, or they make a special push to go, and it really is a lot of fun.
I'd love to see the parade.
Oh, sure, yeah, yep.
Maybe even walk in it.
Yep.
So,
and the different tracks that you get to choose from. Like, I'd love to join the Star Trek track because they probably have a lot of the actors from Star Trek: Strange New Worlds.
They do have some. The captain of the Titan was in a panel that I actually had attended last year, and he was.
Speaking of which, Strange New Worlds is coming back. Was it July? Is it 31st or 17th, something like that? I forget.
Yeah,
the date.
Season 3.
We finally have a premiere date for season 3, which is cool. Anyway, I digress. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So you're going to finish on DragonCon. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like I said, DragonCon is just really, really awesome. And who knows, maybe someday we'll actually be able to go and cover the show. But I have so much fun just attending as a fan and doing panels and there is so much stuff to do.
Yep.
You think there's a lot of stuff to do at Rhode Island Comic Con. You take that and multiply it by a factor of 10. It's just crazy.
So I wanted to talk about one coming up in August that I'm going to. It's the Worldcon in Seattle. I don't know if that'll work.
Nah, nothing but blurry.
Okay, so anyway, it's in Seattle, the Worldcon. They're actually doing something with pinball there. So
really?
I'm going to try to, find out who's running that, if there's going to be a set of pinball machines, or they'll set up a room with a bunch of machines. And, so if there is, I'll try to do an interview with someone.
That'd be kind of,
see if what's going on. And then I was going to enter into the masquerade. So I got a plan for a costume that I want to do.
Okay. Have you chosen what you're going to do yet?
Yeah, I do. I don't want to spoil it. So,
okay.
But, when the time comes, I'll show everybody. And what else? There's it'll be interesting because I've only been behind the scenes with masquerades for a long time, over 15 years. But being on stage as a participant will be, I did it a couple of times before, way back, and then so it'd be cool to do it this year. I'm gonna have to ship it to my sister, though. I think carry it on the plane with me.
Right.
Has anybody? I know it's been over 20 years now since Worldcon was back here in Boston. Has there been any talk about them trying to get it back here?
No. We're all going. Yeah, we're all going. So
okay,
like a whole family trip. we'd been out to Seattle before when my sister got married. She got married up in Vancouver, where her husband is from, and but we did stop in Seattle, and I'd been there with I was in the Navy too, so it's a great place. Uh, what else? I also seen a bunch of people in the attendee list and the program list, so some cool names. And there's people from around here that I know that are going. So, um, what else? So yeah, we'll see. And I don't know where it's going to be exactly for the next couple of years, but that's part of the process there. They'll elect
It's a
a
worldwide thing,
location.
right? Where they get to vote on who's, or they bid.
Yep.
They have to bid for.
Well, you have to be there to vote
Mhm.
on where it's going to be the next for in the 2 years ahead of time.
Okay.
So, but yeah, not around here. They're not really interested yet in trying to do it. Uh, and it's right now people are worried too that some people may not be able to travel here to come to WorldCon, so they may decide to do it outside of North America, like they had it in Glasgow, Scotland,
Yep.
And they might pick someplace else. So we'll see.
We'll see what happens. All right, cool. Anything else in the world of comics? Well, not comics. I'm sorry, conventions. I had comics on the brain.
Well, Northeast Comic Con has a kind of collectibles thing at the end of June.
Okay.
So just a 2-day collectors extravaganza,
All right.
and then the regular Northeast Comic Con in November after Thanksgiving, the weekend of Thanksgiving. Rhode Island Comic Con.
Okay.
This is the beginning of November.
Yep.
Right. And there's some more, but not really concentrating on much yet for the fall, other than those two big ones.
Yeah.
One day at a time.
One day, one convention at a time. That's it. All right. Okay. Any other news or? I'm sorry.
Wait. You got one more.
Wait. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
RKO Con 2025.
Oh, okay.
Right. It's their fifth time they're doing it.
Okay.
An RKO Con, Rocky Horror Con.
I was going to say,
moves around each year.
Explain to the audience what RKO Army is. It's a local Rhode Island thing. Go ahead.
Right. It's the Shadowcast that does Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Right.
They've been doing it like every week.
50th anniversary.
Yep.
Decades and decades. 50th anniversary of the film this year. And I heard the film is touring around with a couple of the actors from the show. I met Barry Bostwick last March. That was really cool. So he's great. And so, yeah, we'll see how that runs. It's at the end of July or beginning of August, right here in Providence.
Yep.
RKO Con. And people from all these other Shadowcasts from around the country, they all audition to take part in different Shadowcast things. They're going to do Shock Treatment. They might do The Room. They might do some other films, Repo, the Genetic Opera.
Are they going to do any Firefly this year?
Probably not.
No.
But there's some other new things they've been doing. So, it's cool because RKO keeps it going by doing new things. And they've, kind of shown how, they've run it such a great con that people come back every year. They're just like, oh, and they've been doing it for every 3 years now since 2013. So
yeah, they're smart because they take the time to plan it the right way, which is good. I think they also do presentations at ConnectiCon, I believe. They do something at ConnectiCon.
Yeah, and they work. They've been doing shows in what's that town that we stop at for the burgers and stuff? That one out there, Manchester.
Manchester, yep.
Manchester, yeah.
Okay.
And then they work with Full Body
Catsup and Mustard.
Cast.
That's the name of the restaurant.
Yeah, Catsup.
Yeah, unfortunately, they are gone.
Are they gone?
Yes.
Oh, that's too bad.
Great place.
They work with Tesseract players and Full Body Cast from the Boston, Salem area, too. So there's a lot of people there that will come down. They work together with them quite well.
Good. Anything else?
So yes. Nope, that's it. That's it.
Cool. Okay. So any last minute things we want to do to tie this up? I should mention right now I'm in the middle of Doctor Who Ecstasy because season 2 is running on Doctor Who. It finishes up in May. And we just found out for people that are into Doctor Who that Mrs. Flood, one of the recurring characters, is actually the Ronnie, which is a Time Lord lady that was an antagonist for the 6th and the 7th classic Doctor Who doctors.
Oh.
So they brought back this character, the Ronnie. So as we tape the 2-part season-ending episode, the part 1 of the 2-parter is supposed to air this coming weekend. So we'll see what happens. Earth gets destroyed and the TARDIS goes away and all this other stuff. So we'll see what happens to the poor Doctor. But if you're a big Doctor Who fan, right now it's a fun, it's an exciting time to be into Doctor Who. So anything else? Anything else you guys have?
I've been watching Lazarus on Toonami.
Okay.
And on Max. There's also they're having a special thing with Bleach. I think it's a film, and then also a new season of Blue Exorcist.
Oh, cool!
And,
all right.
Yep. And then I've been watching also the Gundam Q Gaxu or something like that.
Okay.
It's like an alternate universe set from the original Gundam series, and that's on Amazon. And what else? What else? Checking out whatever I can. I just finished watching Andor, and that
I was going to say
immediately.
Did you finish Andor season 2?
I haven't finished it yet. So.
You haven't finished it yet?
Andor. Yeah, but I immediately watched Rogue One after that.
Okay. Yep. So. Yeah, definitely good series. That was good. I also finished. It was really short. There's only 6 episodes. Star Wars: Tales of the Underworld.
Mm-hmm.
It's an animated series. That's a lot of fun. You should check that out. They talk about Ventress and Cad Bane, those 2 characters.
Yeah.
A lot of backstory to those 2 characters. If you like those, check it out.
Ironheart will be dropping next month. That looks really good.
Which one?
Ironheart.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a TV. They're smart. They're making it a TV series, which will be fun.
And I've been keeping up with The Last of Us. That has been incredible.
Season 2. I haven't started it yet. I've seen all of season 1. I've got Max, and I've yet to start. There were like 5 episodes in as we take.
Yeah, there's only 7 episodes in the season, I believe. So next Sunday will be the final episode of season 2. Season 3 is in development though, and that'll be really interesting to see because they pretty much run through, from what I understand, most of what they had in the sequel video game Last of Us, 2.
Right.
So
the game.
There is no Last of Us 3, so they're going into, as it stands right now, like Game of Thrones territory where they'll have to figure out how they want to end the story.
Right.
But it has been absolute. The casting, the acting, everything has been stellar.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're gonna just cliffhanger this one or something, because I don't see how it could end this storyline quite so soon with 7 episodes. So it might cliffhanger and then continue into the next season.
It's definitely possible, but it's been great. Can't recommend that enough.
Okay.
And Peacemaker season 2.
I
look
know.
forward to that. Looks funny.
Yeah.
Yep.
So many good stuff. You can pick and choose whatever you like. But I try to watch as much of it, all of it as I can.
I mean, I've yet to start. I mean, I only watched the first episode of the new Daredevil, so I gotta finish watching that one. You mentioned Penguin earlier. I haven't seen the Penguin yet.
Yep. There's a lot. Really good. There's a lot to keep you occupied.
There's too much television. Oh my goodness, what are we gonna do?
Never enough.
Yeah, I know. Okay. All right. Any shout outs or anything you guys want to do before we go?
Come to the picnic.
That's right. That's right. We Rhode Island Science Fiction Club is having our annual picnic on Saturday, June 14th. It starts at 12 noon. Was it site number 28? Right?
I believe so.
I
What did
believe so.
send
It's
you?
at Cold State Park in Bristol, Rhode Island.
Yep.
If you go to the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club Facebook page, there's a pinned information about that outing, and I guess I'll pin it to the Sci-Fi Journal Facebook page as well.
That's a good idea.
Yep. So I'll do that, so you guys can take a look at that. So if you're watching this and it's early enough, please join us. Yeah, bring your own food, and we'll have games and a bunch of other stuff.
Picnic spot 27.
27. Thank you. Okay.
27.
Yep. At
Cold State Park.
Bristol, Rhode Island. Beautiful site. Pray for nice weather. We've had some years when we've had picnics in the pouring rain.
Yes.
And we enjoyed each other's company, but it wasn't fun. It wasn't a
I
great
even
deal.
grilled with an umbrella.
Yes, exactly. Bring soggy sandwiches. That's all I can tell you. And hope nobody has a birthday, because the cake is going to be kind of white. But what can you do? Okay.
It'll be
All right.
Flag Day too.
That's right. Oh, that is Flag Day. That's right. Very important. All right. Calvin, anything?
Nope.
No? You want to say bye to your kiddos for the summer before we go, or what?
Well, this is May.
I know it's May.
But anyways, congratulations to the seniors on my bus, which is bus 11 in East Providence.
Yep.
You guys have done exceptional well. I've been proud to know you guys the last 4 years, and looking forward to hearing about your future endeavors, and the preschoolers that are graduating. I'm gonna miss them. And then the eighth graders that are graduating middle school and going into high school. Best of luck to all of you.
Yep, that's good. Yeah, my guys, same thing. Yep, good luck. Have an awesome summer, and for some of you, I will see you in the fall, which would be good. All right, James, you all set?
Yeah, I'm
We're
good.
good. Okay, that's going to be it for this edition of Sci-Fi Journal. We're going to post it on YouTube as always. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Tell your friends about us. We like to have as many viewers as possible. Please feel free to leave some comments in the comment section, because we always like suggestions on new shows and different topics. If you want to see us cover something, let us know. And that's going to be it for this Sci-Fi Journal. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.